Hey everyone, how's it going? Jordan here with another video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Netgear EX7500, which is the Nighthawk X4S Wi-Fi plug, and the EX8000, which is their Nighthawk X6 range extender. Now right off the bat, I'm going to cover both of these in one video, so it's not going to be quite as technical if you were to look at a review of each one. So just as a little PSA for anyone that is wanting a detailed video, this isn't probably the one for you, but I will recommend some others in the description that you can check out that are a bit more in depth. So these two products are going to be a great little solution if you want to get into the whole mesh networking. This is going to basically turn your Wi-Fi network into one complete whole network with an aim to give you a more well-rounded Wi-Fi signal, so it's going to reduce the potential for dead zones and low speeds. So a common problem with Wi-Fi is when you go through multiple thick walls that are concrete, it does reduce the speed of the Wi-Fi and just the range that you can go with the device until you just get no signal at all. This basically just allows you to pick up that network signal and give it a good boost. And if you just want to go for the simple option, you can just connect these with WPS, which is a simple press on your router and then this device, and they'll connect together. Keep the same network name as well, so you won't have to go switching over Wi-Fi names. It just creates one big seamless network. Now if you're wondering about prices for these, the 7500, which is the plug-in version, is currently £109 on Amazon, which is about $120. And the EX8000 is £141, which is about $155. Now bear in mind, user needs obviously depicts how much you're going to be wanting to spend on something like this. You may not even need the 7500 if you've got a small house with just a couple of pockets that are a bit low for signal and speed, but there's certainly two options and they do have a massive range if you need something a little bit smaller. So the contents of the boxes varies a little bit, as the EX8000 uses a power adapter and it's a solid standalone device. Just as an FYI, you can't wall mount this, so it does need to be sat somewhere that you don't mind it being on show. And then the EX7500 just comes with an instruction manual. Okay, so let's not waste any time and let's get into the boxes. So at first we'll look over the E7500. I certainly feel that this is the option that most people are going to go for. I think just the convenience of having it all in one unit is nice, and it's easy to put away just behind a TV or maybe just behind a wardrobe or even in a cupboard if you've got a plug in there. Certainly doesn't take up quite as much room. So as you can see, it's very sleek in design, just a simple Netgear logo, and then you've got 5 different lights at the top. These light up blue and they indicate different connections when you're connected to your router by WPS, when using 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, just to give you a rough idea of what's going on. On the side of the device, we've got the WPS button. You just press and hold this, then you do the same on the router and they'll match up together. You can do this under a minute and I'll show you just how that works later on. And then underneath, we've got a factory reset button, so if you want to connect it to a different router. Now being I'm in the UK, obviously this is going to come with the UK plug, but don't worry, different countries will have their appropriate plugs. There is some ventilation at the bottom, but it also looks pretty cool, and it also kind of reminds me of Darth Vader.
Hello there.
So onto the EX8000. This is a pretty drastically looking device to the actual plug-in one, but it does feature a whole host of options additionally to the 7500. Now obviously it does take up a lot more space, but it does incorporate LAN ports on the back as well, so you do have the ability to expand your network, maybe plug in your games console if you have a HDPC, and then that will connect to your router that way. So that increase in size does offer you more expansion as well. Along the top, we've got similar LEDs to what you saw on the plug-in version, but also offering information about data transfer, the USB connectivity that's on the back, and also any LAN activity that's going on. So on the back of the device, we've got the WPS button to connect into your router. 4 Ethernet jacks, as I said, you could use these for expandability to your HDPC, games console, anything that you want to connect wired to get a little bit more of a speed increase over just using Wi-Fi to the router itself. Obviously this can boost your signal, and then hardwiring into this device gives you a much stronger connection and connected to the router itself that may be, a lot further away in your house. You've also got a USB port on there as well, a power switch, the DC input for a power adapter, and then a reset button. So powering up the 7500, just literally put this into a wall socket and then pressing holding the WPS button, the same on the router, and they connect within a matter of seconds. I don't even think it took a minute, so really quick to connect together. And if you want to go for a fit and forget, and you could just connect to your Wi-Fi as normal and it would incorporate this into your network. If you want to, you can go on the app and do a little bit more tinkering. I will show you a brief look at that in a minute as well. But as I said on the top, it does show a connection when you are on the 2.4 or the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. I'm connected to the 2.4 in this instance, but the same does work for the 5 gigahertz. So you can see what's connected to it in real time. Also, a little caveat to note is the LED will change color depending on how the connection is. So for example, if you're using 2.4, the best connection is going to be showing blue, amber is a good connection, red goes to poor, and then when there's no light at all, there's no connection whatsoever. And then you do get a blue flashing when it's resetting to its factory defaults. So moving on to the X6S, this is a very similar setup procedure to the X4S. Just connect your power cable, turn it on, hold down the WPS, and then the same on the router, and it will connect seamlessly. You get a similar sequence of lights. It will power up through, then give you some real-time information about what is going on with the extender. As an example, this shot here was taken straight after the pairing, so you can just see how fast this is to set up. I've cut the clip short just for the sake of the video length, but the whole process was no longer than 2 minutes all in all, but if you include the speed test, probably about just over 3 minutes. Now of course the speed you can expect to see is depicted by the package that you pay for by your ISP, so the result you see here might be quite fast for you, or even slow for others, but the package I'm on, this is giving a really quick result considering I'm paying for an 80 down and 20 up connection, and this was taken from the room next door to me. Now in addition to just using this for Wi-Fi, I did mention this has a USB port. This is a USB 2.0 port, but can be used for file and folder sharing across your network, and it supports read and write to ext4, HFS+, and NTFS file formats. It's definitely the choice of the two for the more power users among us, and with the extra connectivity and stronger radios, it's not that much more expensive for the additional features. So let's take a look at the web interface. This is just an easy browse to myWiFiExt.com from anywhere on your network. Then it gives you a whole host of settings. Now for the majority of people you probably won't even need to use this, but for those that like to have a tinker, this is where you're going to find it. In this part you'll find the ability to add the access schedule, perfect for parents, see the network on the traffic including the ability to block certain devices, configure your WPS, perfect if you're putting this in a hard to reach area or somewhere tucked away, and you can also customize IP settings and of course access backup and restore options. So all in all, how much do these extenders actually benefit the user? Well, I've recently used the EX7500 at a friend's house to boost signal when playing Knowledge is Power and That's You, which are two smartphone apps that connect to the PS4. Before, we'd have at least 2 people drop out of 6 players every other round, which became increasingly frustrating. Then implementing the X4S between the router and where we were playing the game meant we didn't experience a single dropout for the entire evening, and using WPS made it ever so simple to set up, and not to have any hassle with Wi-Fi for the entire evening was an absolute godsend. Implementing the X6S into my home network eliminated any dead spots, one of which was in the lounge, which is located at the rear of the house, and my router is situated on the upper floor at the front of the house, so devices have a lot of walls and doors to contend to. But setting up this extender in the room above the lounge pushed the signal all over the house, and it also benefited when being in the attic as well as far up the garden at the rear of the house. It just gave me nice freedom to go anywhere in the house and garden without a single worry about network drops, and it certainly makes a welcome change for ripping through my 4G data every night as Wi-Fi just didn't work. So I hope this video has been informative to give you some benefits that these can actually bring to the end user. I'll put the links in the description box below if you want to get one for yourself if you feel it's going to benefit you. As per usual, if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments box below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss an upload. A big thank you to Netgear for sending these out for me to look at. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.